Welcome to the Lovely Important Nonsense Podcast. It's your boy Matt Spellen. Okay, so first I want to start off with saying, guys, I am very, very happy right now. It's been almost it's been a year. We could even scratch the two podcasts from last year. It's been almost 2 years since I have been back on Len. And I want to first start off and say thank you for everyone who's been reaching out to me, who has contacted me, who's seen me in the street, was like, "Hey, dog, aren't you the guy from Len?" And I'm like, "Hey, you've been watching?" Because of you guys, I honestly, this I wouldn't even be here if you guys haven't hit me up and been checking on me. We're going to go through this podcast today just to let you know what has been happening since then and why the long hiatus and my mental state at this point. Guys, it's been a tough 2 years, to be honest with you. These last 2 years have been, I would say, mentally, physically, spiritually trying. And I I can't believe that I'm even sitting here right now. But if it wasn't for, of course, one of my best friends, Joe Fucarino, I always mess up his last name. I know he gets mad at me about that. If it wasn't for Jersey Media, just pulling me out the depths of hell and being like, "Hey, man, it's time for you to come back to the light." And I thank you guys. And again, we're going to be a lot more consistent than we were before. And I'm hoping I can hear a lot more from you guys. We're gonna do a lot more interviews, a lot more one-on-one conversations, and we'll get to the nonsense part of everything. And we're gonna clean it up a little bit. These last 2 years have been tough because when I try to come back and start, uh, uh, it was it was hard because at the time I just lost my father at the time. So my father passed away, and I didn't think it would be as tough as it was to come back, but my spirit, my everything was just broken after that. It was a rough year, but I wanna go into that a little bit more and say like, hey guys, me and my father, we didn't have the strongest relationship. Growing up, I tried to uh, I was always trying to prove myself that I was a good son to him. And when he passed, it didn't hit me that I wasn't really able to say everything that I wanted to say to him. We were supposed to have our time together, so I could kind of like let it go and just give him that side of me that I never showed him. Because when he raised me, as I was growing up, the time we did spend together, I'm from a Guyanese family, so it was really about strength. You couldn't show really weakness in my family. It was we had to be as vulnerability wasn't a thing for us, and I think I spoke about this before, but we could bring this back up. Vulnerability was never a something that we did in my family, and it's not until I became an adult where I started to learn how to be more vulnerable. Honestly, it's not until I had children is when I started becoming more vulnerable, and I realized how difficult and how hard it is to change your personality to fit your new self. And I could just say that he did the best he can, though we bump heads, and though we there was times where I wasn't present anymore because of whatever reason, pride, ego, whatever. He taught me a lot of lessons. He showed me that nothing comes for free. He showed me how to work really hard. He he loved me in the way that he could love me, and that's the best I could ask for. No matter what has happened between me and him, and I say this to only say this. When I was when I lost him, and then when I lost, it reminded me of when I lost my other mother, my grandmother. It reminded me that this life that we have here is so frail. It could one day, like I said, we was planning on hanging out so we could talk, and then another day he was in the hospital, and then that week he was gone, and I never was able to tell him that that just thank him for even just being present, and because we forget how important just the presence of a man is in our life, even though if the relationship isn't the way we want it to be, just the presence of a man in our life could change everything in your life. So I would like to say this publicly, that thank you, Dad, for what you have taught me. And you know what? Thank you for the things that you showed me that I am not going to do. You know what I'm saying? Because, he wasn't a perfect person. He wasn't a perfect person at all. But through him, I was able to learn certain lessons about life, what I should do, what I shouldn't do. And yeah, man, I love you. So thank you, Father. And again, I want to say is that if you do have someone that you just not connecting with anymore, or that you're not that you're having a hard time reconciling with, even if you don't get the answer you want, or you don't get the response you want, let it go. Tell them, because you're gonna wake up one day and you're just not gonna be able to. You're gonna hold on to it for a long time. And I could say this, that my hiatus was because it was almost like I couldn't find my identity anymore after he passed, because I spent so much time trying to get acknowledgement from him, trying to just have him see me, that when he was gone, it was tough for me to move past that person that was. And of course, I got a great support team. I have my wife, I have my children, I have my friends that was able to again, like Joe. I know he's here, but I got to point him out, because even those little phone calls that maybe I didn't pick up, or maybe I didn't see, but I got them, and it just helped me, and it let me know that someone's thinking about me, and that I can't sit in my own funk for too long. Even though it did take about 1.5 years to get out of it, but I can't sit in my own funk for too long, and we're getting to the anniversary of everything. So, and this is my anniversary of my ninth year, Joe, my ninth year podcasting. So I want to make sure that we do it right this time. That it's not just for me; it's to honor the people that were thinking about me. It's honor the people that have prayed over me and loved me, and I just can't ask for more than that. I'm trying not to get all mushy on there, but it's the lovely part of the lovely important nonsense, and I would definitely say, though I wasn't here, I felt a lot of love. I was in places where I shouldn't be, and I would still see and hear people saying, "Hey, I remember you had this episode, and it was one of my favorites," or "You said something," and sometimes I believe no one's listening, and that goes back to important where this goes back to important where we talk about content. Before a long time, we used to talk about content a lot, and sometimes you're not sure if anyone's actually listening to you, or if your messages are getting out, or if you're talking into the void. And one day you just wake up and someone tells you, "Hey, yo, you said something that 360 me," and I was just, or 180 me, and I'm very appreciative of those conversations that I've been having and those people that has entered and exited out my life. I'm appreciative of old co-worker, old co-host, and everybody was a very important person to me during those times. So thank you for dealing with me, because I'm not an easy person to deal with either. Um, and with that being said, that I'm trying to find the balance between. I was trying to find the balance between the good and evil of who I am, and lean more towards the good part. I was definitely wilding for a while, and and we back, baby. That's all I want to say. We back, we back. So just bear with me on this episode. It's gonna be a lot of, I hate that, but we're gonna bear with me on this episode because we're doing this fresh off the dome. There's nothing written down. I'm just trying to be as open as possible. Coming back to the studio, if you guys don't notice, the studio has moved. We are in a bigger location. Joe has expanded. I'm very proud of him for what he's done here at Jersey Media. This is we got a full crew now, which is like, if they don't know, it was like two of us at a time working on these things. I remember doing the movie with them, and it was like three of us and doing the whole movie. So just know that anything you think about is possible. You just have to like work at it, So that's stuff I wanted to talk about. What else happened? It feels like we're back in 2020 again. Apparently we have Trump is back as president. So, I'm not going into politics on this. I just want everybody to do good, Make sure you got all your eggs in the basket. Fight as hard as you can to make as much money as you can. Pay attention to your surroundings. Get a passport. Those type of things. I remember now everyone's talking. They suspended TikTok for a while. I remember everyone's talking about going to some, what was it, Red Note or something like that. Red Note. But I'm not learning Chinese, so that's not happening. So y'all gonna have to find me on the regular platforms. So I'm definitely not learning Mandarin. What else? Yeah, a lot of things have been happening. I got a lot more spiritual, so I want to talk about that a lot more when it comes further on into our podcast life. I got real spiritual, really spiritual. Like I'm like a leader at the churches and stuff. I haven't spoke about. I don't speak about things that I do in the communities, but apparently I need to talk about that now. So we go out, we feed homeless. I pray for people. I know, and it sounds weird because about a year and a half ago I was over here high as hell on camera, smoking and shit like that. But now, sorry, I gotta fix the cursing. I gotta fix the curse. But now we don't do none of that. So it's the evolution of Matt's been like really interesting, very interesting, very complex, I could say, and I guess that's just the human experience at that point, What else? We got closer to God. We got we closer to my family. I bought a home. I told you I was gonna buy a house. And I bought a house. So I bought a house. We bring it back. The death of Bulletproof happened. I'll just be honest with you. Bulletproof is a hard name to sell because even though we all have sentimental value to it, like, the whole Jersey, we all. The next person I say Bulletproof, I'm gonna like lose my mind. I'm gonna lose my mind. So we are rebranding. Hopefully, I'm able to share that with you guys soon. Cause I gotta we gotta do flyers and everything else like that. LLC it. We'll talk about how the LLC process happens. We'll talk about how we go through how we turn things to an S corp, and all that nice stuff. Right? I want to make sure we are being as knowledgeable as possible on this podcast, and of course bring the funny, because I don't know how to not be funny, except for this episode. We're not gonna be funny today, as much as possible. What else? So yeah, on today I just wanted to speak a little bit on like what's been going on. If you guys seen that I have lost a lot of like podcast mates. I always said, and I know this is me being cocky, I always said, when it all comes down to it, and it comes to the end of the day, I will be the last of the Mohegans on this microphone in front of this camera doing what I'm supposed to do. My gift is to talk that good stuff. See, I ain't say it this time. Talk that good stuff to the people. So, but shout out to all my past co-hosts. You guys were all important. I appreciate you guys. If we talk, we don't talk. I appreciate you guys for just being there. Late night conversations, me being annoying, trying to get everybody together. I don't know, just appreciate you guys for working with me through those times, and the times where I had to shut things down. And since we're going into the anniversary of the podcast, of my podcast life, we'll speak about some of them. Over the Top Rope podcast. I don't know if you guys remember that. That's from my wrestling days. I still like me some pro wrestling. I ain't gonna lie to you. Honestly, I want to do. I'm gonna speak this into existence. I want to do a match. I'm gonna find a school, and I'm gonna get it. I just want one match. I just want to be the guy that says he jumped off the top rope. You know what I'm saying? I just want. I want to make that child on the inside. I want to make him happy one time, and I just want to jump with a Macho Man elbow on somebody's freaking chest. Win or lose, that gotta happen. That gotta happen at least one time. So Over the Top Rope was like my first official podcast that I was on. Well, we did numbers on that podcast when YouTube was new, and we were the wrestling podcast of New Jersey, and no one could touch us. We was at all the events. It was dope. So shout out to Marv out in Bravery, when we were Speak Your Mind Radio. The Duke, wherever he's at, what that whole team was. What was it? Anna, Deshaun, A.K. Alex, who else? X-Man Dam, which he changed his name now because he's a DJ. Who else? All you guys. I'm sorry if I messed up, if I forgot one person. So thank you guys. That was like, you guys put the bug in my back to keep doing this. Shout out to the real ish talkers. I can't say the word anymore because YouTube will take me off, and everybody got community guidelines now. That's the reason why you can't find us anymore, because our name itself was profanity. But thanks to the real ish talkers, that was with me and Alex, and we used to just talk crap with people on the chat boards, and I used to tell people their mother sucks and all that type of things, and we used to and get threatening messages, and we would laugh at you on camera and stuff like that. They shout out to you guys. The shout out to Alex for help me through that. That was a great time. I remember waking up early in the morning. I remember going to work all night. I used to work a graveyard shift, and I used to come straight from my graveyard shift right to the studio and then talk for 2 hours and then go home. And then I had to take care at the time. What was she, like 1 year old? My 1 year old daughter at the time. I had to take care of her right after the studio. That was good times though. Good times. It was really fun. We had that going for what I did, like man, that was like 90 something episodes. 90 something episodes we did on that. Shout out to TRST, which was back Alex again, which was Jack, who stayed on with me through the end of TRST. So shout out to Jack. Yeah, it was good. It was good. Shout out to you guys. It was dope. And TRST was crazy too. That was the days where we were like drinking on camera, and I was still talking crap, but now I was talking more about what was going on in the world. That's when we started our real interviews and things like that. I had like all the people that came on TRST, and we had like over 115, 120 episodes or something like that on TRST. And they took some of them you can't find. You know what I mean? Shout out to the Deadbeats. They was there too. They linked with me towards the end. That was pretty dope. Shout out to the Deadbeats. Wherever they are at in the world. So I had a lot of calls. A lot of calls thinking about this stuff. What else? I didn't mean to to them. I didn't mean to let that fail as it did, but I was going through a rough time, and they had their own life they had, and I had to let it go. So shout out to that team. That's when Lynn was born, the original Lynn, Lovely Important Nonsense. Lynn was born right after that, probably like a year later. It was just me. I had Jack come on for a little bit. I had Kat. Shout out to her. She helped me a lot towards the end of TRST. Wherever they are at in the world. I put pressure. That was like when I actually started putting real pressure on the podcasting side and stuff like that. But once life started kicking me in the butt, that's when it happened. And that also goes back to like once the consistency part is tough when you are doing these type of things. You get drained out after 100 and something episodes. I never took days off. I think like the God was like, yo, he had to pull me out for about a long time before I could even come back on camera and doing this, because once I start, I don't stop. I'm a machine. I was raised that way. I'm born that way. I'm a machine. I like to keep going. I don't like to stop. So, I mean, from the first, since, 2015 or something like that? Yeah, 2015 to all the way to 2025. Like, I ran through straight podcasting. That was why I used to talk crap like, hey, I'm the best. I'm the number one podcaster in Jersey. I remember that. I'm the number one podcaster in the East Coast. And then I became, I remember being the cult leader. I was just talking about that earlier, when they used to end the show with like, do you want to be part of a cult? And then people used to be like, oh, I'm part of your cult, Matt. It was dope. And not a real cult leader. Not a real cult leader. It was a gimmick. But yeah, after a while, it does get drained. So when you are doing something for a long period of time, I have learned now in my older ages, it is beneficial for you to take breaks. It is okay to be like, all right, this thing won't die without me, because my whole thing was like, if I don't do it, this is no longer gonna work out. This is not gonna happen anymore. We can't. We got. You want to say, we got like a package delivery up in this mother. Got a package delivery up in this. Yeah. And I told Joe that was gonna happen. I said, watch when I get on this camera, somebody gonna need to deliver something. And do I tell the future or not, bro? Tell the future or not. He gonna watch this part, and I was like, I told you. It's all right. It's all good. They can edit it out, right? Well, who cares? Keep it. Who gives a crap? Keep it. So yeah. So consistency, discipline will always carry you through. At the end of the day, but there is a time when you could be too disciplined to the point that you will burn out. So I burnt out. The first time I took the hiatus, I burnt out. I was done. I said, I said, Joe, if I go back in front of that camera, I'm gonna lose my mind. He was like, nah, bro, you need to take a break. And then I got back on the camera, like, I kid you not, I probably took like that week off, and I was like, nah, I gotta get back on. And then that's when that shit hit the fan. And yeah, that's when shit hit the fan. And that's when I've been gone for as long as that happened. But I just thought it would be a good idea for me to come up here, give you guys my explanation on why I've been gone, tell you guys that y'all could go ahead and save this, share this, tell your friends, your mama, your daddy, your sister, your uncles, all of them. Tell Matt is back. And we're going to do this one more time. We're going to do it the right way. I'm going to try not to get banned. That's the real, my whole goal for real is not to get banned. Because I've been banned, I think, in every podcast I've done, except for Over the Top Rope. But no, because it was another podcast in between that. It wasn't just Over the Top Rope. It was Over the Top Rope, and what else was it? Dang. It was another wrestling podcast, too. So, shout out to that podcast, too. I think they're gone. But make sure you take your breaks. When you feel run down, take your breaks. You're not going to do your best work. I know, Matt, you told us breaks is for losers. I know, I said that many times. Take your breaks. What are you gonna, what hurt? What are you gonna hurt? It's not gonna be there. You need to do your best work, right? So take it when you can. Take it while you can. Enjoy your family, because that's the one thing I was able to do. I was actually able to sit back and enjoy my family. I enjoyed my family. I got to hang, I'm pretty much weirdly, I always said this. I'm weirdly obsessed with all the things my kids are doing. I just want to be part of their life, and I just want to. So when they become like 30-something years old, they're like, yeah, my dad used to be everywhere, bro. I'm so annoyed, man. I love that guy. That's what I want. If you hit, so let me give you because I think we're doing short today, right? Yeah, we're going short. So before we run out of time, let's a few messages. If you are having a hard time, reach out for someone. If you need to speak to the person that you need to speak to the person before it's too late. Make sure you let them know how much you care about them or your feelings towards the situation. If you gotta scream at a person, scream at them. It's rather you do it before you can't do it, because holding on to it is only going to make your life a lot more complicated in the long run. We like to believe we're not the children that we used to be, but all that means is that we just lash out differently. Consistency is always key. Discipline discipline will always carry you when motivation is gone. But also know when it's time to take a break, because you can only do your best work when you're not exhausted, especially when you're doing something that you love. I love doing this. This is something I always love to do. I thought about doing this every day since I've been off. But I knew the big guy upstairs said, nah, you got to sit this out for a little bit. There's some things I need you to go through first. If you have a complicated relationship, fix it or let them know about it. But besides that, I am thrilled I get to bother you guys one more time. Because where we at? How many minutes we at right now? 33. This is the Lovely Important Nonsense Podcast. It's your boy, Matt. And I don't think you're going to get too many of these sentimental episodes, but Spellen, I'm out.